How did we increase the value of this house? By almost £200,000 in 6 months. Let's get into it. 1. Adding physical value. We bought this 3-bed end terrace house in Luton, Dunstable, right by the hospital there. Downstairs it had a front room, back room, galley kitchen. Upstairs it had 2 double bedrooms and a 3rd single bedroom and a family bathroom. I liked this house in particular because it was an end terrace, so it had this alleyway down the side, which is super useful. What we did starting downstairs is make the front room into a large double ensuite bedroom. The rear part of the house, you can see that we basically knocked through the kitchen and living room to create one open plan kitchen diner area, and we added this window facing the alley. So as I mentioned earlier, having the alleyway there was useful because otherwise you wouldn't have been able to add that window. In the extension at the rear, we added an 8-metre long extension, and rather than having one big room there that we could have rented or make it into living accommodation, a living room for example, we decided to split it into 2 double ensuite bedrooms. That's important because 2 ensuite double bedrooms is going to rent for a lot more than 1, even if that 1 is a lot bigger. Upstairs, we essentially split it half and half, the front of the house, the back of the house. In each half, we created 2 large double ensuite bedrooms with studio type elements to it. So they had fridges, sink. So if a tenant wanted to, they could put a microwave in, or a kettle, or a coffee machine. The reason this adds a lot of value, and I'll go into the numbers at the end, is you're turning what was a 2 double bed and 1 single bed house into 5 double ensuite bedrooms, of which 2 of them are essentially studios and can be rented out as studios. Having 5 beds, 5 bathrooms is going to be worth a lot more than having 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The second way you can add value is by buying below market value. So when it was on the market, it was on for £140,000, in my opinion, already on a good price. We agreed to purchase it at £128,000, so 9% discount, which isn't the biggest discount in the world, but it was a good property. It was already on at a good price. 9% seemed pretty good at the time, and I knew that we could add the value with the extension, the fact that it had an alleyway down the side that would help put that window in the middle of the house where the open plan kitchen is. Another way that you can buy below market value is, you can see from the pictures, it was all okay. You know, it wasn't as if it was in terrible condition, but it's quite dated, and to be honest, the photos look a lot better than the property was in reality at the time. If it'd been refurbished, it was on for a higher price, then in reality we would have been gutting it to do all of this work anyway, and the numbers wouldn't have stacked up. You basically want to buy something that needs modernisation, but then also look to get a good price. Number 3, making the property an HMO, a house of multiple occupancy. What's that mean? Well, as you can see now, we now have 5 double ensuite bedrooms. Anything over 4 bedrooms requires an HMO licence. We already knew obtaining a licence would be pretty straightforward. There are no restrictions in the area. But the reason this adds value is when the property is valued, it's valued not just based on the asset value, what the property's worth compared to other 5-bed properties in the area, but it's also valued based on the income it produces, the rent it produces. So for example, rather than me renting this property out as 1 unit, where I might be lucky and generate £1,500, £1,600 a month, I'm able to rent all the rooms separately for a total of £3,000, almost double the amount. And so when a lender is lending against that, they take that in consideration. It's a property that, yes, it's 5 bedrooms, yes, it's in fantastic condition, but also it's renting for £3,000 a month. In reality, all the lender cares about is that you're able to pay the debt that you're getting, the mortgage you're getting. That's all they care about. So as long as they've got confidence that there's income, that property's income is going to cover their mortgage, then they're going to value it based on that. So what are the numbers? It was on the market for £140,000. We bought it for £128,000, 9% below what it was on the market for. The legal fees were just under £930. Stamp duty was just under £4,000. So in total, it was essentially just under £133,000. The planning cost me just over £1,300. The refurb was just under £116,000. All the furniture and decor you see there, which essentially is sort of the beds, the TVs on the walls, that kind of thing, that was just under £4,000. So in total we spent £121,000 or just over. Seems like a hell of a lot when we bought the property for £128,000. We spent almost as much doing the property up as we did paying for it, which seems mad, but in total we spent £253,810. When the property was valued for a mortgage, it was revalued based on £450,000 of value. 75% mortgage released £337,500. So we got just under £84,000 back out on top of the money we'd already spent. So think about that for a moment. We owned the house, we've got 75% mortgage, we've got all of the money back out that we put in, plus an extra almost £84,000. Obviously you've got a property with a mortgage now. The mortgage per month, £765 or just under. The monthly rental income across all the rooms is £3,000, £700 for the bigger rooms, £600 for the bigger double at the front, and £500 for each of the rear rooms. To be honest, we're probably undercharging. We could probably rent them for more. The occupancy rate so far is practically 100%. In terms of other monthly costs, it's £350 a month cleaning, council tax is about £165, energy is pushing up towards £300, internet £60, seems like a lot, probably need to look into getting that reduced. Maintenance as an average so far has been just over £130, so some months have been more, some have been less, but the average is that. So in total this property is costing us £1,749 a month, give or take. But the revenue is £3,000 a month. So, every month is generating over £1,200, £15,000 a year. It's got none of our money left in it. We got £84,000 back out. We've still got 25% equity in that property, which is, however much that is, £112,000, £13,000 a month, £110,000, £12,000, which is mad. On the face of it, that all looks great. But in terms of actually being realistic over what was involved to get to this point, we had to find the property, offer on it, refurbish it, get all the licensing sorted, get it tenanted. There's essentially 6 months of work, upfront work, and a lot of it that's now resulted in this asset we now own that we kind of ignore, that manages itself, but still generate £15,000 a year of additional income. Once you've done one of these, as you can see, the motivation is then to do another and another and another, and that's ultimately what we're trying to do. Another interesting thing with this property is we are considering converting it into serviced accommodation, so if we do, I'll let you know and I'll do a video on it.